This week's featured artist almost has a decade age gap between the members. Anberlin started in 2002 when the drummer was just 14. They've since signed with a major label and headlined sold-out concerts. This is just the beginning of what's to come for Anberlin, and I was able to catch up with their singer, Stephen Christians.
Hey, we're here with Stephen Christians of Anberlin. You guys started back in 2001 or 2002?
2002, yeah.
2002?
First record came out in 2003.
And you guys were all fairly young when that record came out. So how did you guys get hooked up with Tooth and Nail for that?
Well, yeah, it was pretty. Wow, that's funny. Yeah, we were all so naive and so dumb. Like we had recorded in Atlanta, Georgia, with a guy named Matt Goldman, and he knew a lot of record labels like Warner Brothers and stuff like that. So we started to send it out, and then we got all these contracts back. But honestly, the best one to us that seemed like the one that took the most interest in us was Tooth and Nail, and they really got behind us. And man, I don't have any regrets about that.
Yeah, and your drummer was 15, is that right?
14.
14? Oh my gosh, that's crazy. So,
What
I just kind of wonder what parents think whenever their 14 or 15-year-old son or daughter wants to go record it.
Why they would trust like a 23-year-old to hey, well it's okay, man, just bring him out. We'll take care of him. It's no big deal. I don't get it. I would never do that. Like, here's my 14-year-old son. Let him hit the road. But it was hard. I mean, it was hard for them. But you know what? Nate's dad actually played professional football in the NFL. He played for the Tampa Bay Bucks and the Green Bay Packers and some other teams, the San Francisco 49ers.
I did not know that.
That's and so, cool. Yeah, random, right? But the thing is, I think the dad saw that, you only get one shot at this. He would understand, because in professional football, you only have a limited lifespan. You know what I'm saying? You get out of college at 19.
Unless you're a Brett Favre.
Definitely. So, I mean, he understands that there's opportunities like this doesn't happen all the time, and that he pursued his dreams, so why should he not let his son pursue his? And you know what? All of us in the band are Christians and stuff like that. And I think that made it easier for the parents. And honestly, we're good kids. We don't.
That causes too much trouble.
And so he knew, he saw through us and that, and it was a slow and sure process. It wasn't like we were gone for a year at a time. It was like 2 weeks here, then it would build up in 3 weeks, and now we're to the point where we don't see them much anymore. But anyway, I'm so happy they did that too.
So because how did you guys find Nate then if he was so much younger than the rest of you?
Right, yeah. Well, what happened was when he was actually, it's so funny, when he was 13, he was playing in a different band called Bottle Rocket, and they were like a local band in the Tampa Bay area, but they would open up for us all the time, not Anberlin, but we were in several other local bands, and so they would open up for us, and I was gonna say my bass player. The bass player, Dion, was like, dude, you've got to see this kid. He's 12 years old. He's he's better than our drummer. I was like, yeah, right. So the first 2 times, I don't think I watched him, because we played with him a couple of times. And then when I finally watched him play, I was like, this is amazing. He's a prodigy, and everybody knew it. And it just seemed like the whole crowd was just watching him. How is he doing this? All these fills, and it was amazing.
And then. Yeah, and you said you guys are getting ready to go to Europe?
Yeah, we're going to go out there with a band called Paramore, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Just London and Glasgow, a little bit interior Europe, but pretty much in the UK is where we're mainly going.
And I also looked on your website, let's say you guys have one sold out already.
Yeah.
Which is pretty incredible.
Which is really good, because we've only been there once.
Really?
Yep, only once with the starting line, and that was 2.5, 3 years ago. So for people to still be excited and still remember who we are, it's pretty great.
So what's something you'd like to see change maybe about the rock industry or the music industry?
I think, I think one of the biggest, actually it's on an upswing in my opinion. I think that a lot more people, like if you look like even 5 years ago, the biggest bands were like boy bands and Britney Spears and all that kind of stuff. So I'm excited that it's kind of changing to the fact that like singers, songwriters and people that actually write their own music are taking back over the charts and stuff like that. So I really enjoy that. I'm really excited about where the music and especially the rock scene is going.
Cool. So for like the 70s and 60s, you had bands like Led Zeppelin and The Who, and so who do you think is going to be like the trademark bands for like this generation?
See, I don't know. I'm so scared. I have no idea. Like I mean, you look at the sequential history of rock and roll and stuff like that, and you can point out like, oh, these bands were amazing. But I guess I'm so much in it that I can't see like these are just like the guys I hang out with, so I wouldn't know which one's going to stand out. I'm sure people are going to look back and go Fall Out, say Fall Out.
Yeah, that's what I've heard before too.
Fall Out Boy and Mike Kim, but there's some great bands that really don't get a lot of airplay that I really think that should be like the forefront of a rock scene, like a band called The Stills and Travis and Muse and stuff like that. I think are three great bands that are really amazing rock bands that don't get a lot of credibility right now, or don't get a lot of exposure right now.
And you're also getting started with a solo project, I've heard, right?
Right,
Is that
yeah.
right, with the guy from Copeland?
Yep.
Aaron?
Aaron Marsh, the singer of Copeland, is kind of producing the record, and he is, he's on tour right now. But we should be finishing up the record. It should be out in February. As kind of the tentative, hopefully when it goes out. But it's called Anchor and Braille, and it's very different. It's more like a little bit like Ryan Adams-ish, meets Travis or something to that effect. Meets just Britpop and stuff like that. Damien Rice and so. I guess a little more like, I just wanted something different than Anberlin. You know what I'm saying? I wanted a different outlet. Like, not all the songs that I write are, 4 on the floor, go and jump around as fast as you can, And so, like, I don't know, this is kind of more the piano-driven, of the two. Try to be involved in organizations and stuff like that. Everything from when we started World Vision to PETA to across the board. Just we wanted to make sure that we left kind of like a lasting effect on the scene. We didn't just want to come in here and try to be the biggest band in the world like everybody else. It's just like, what, we're not naive to the fact that like every band has like a 5-year life. That's pretty much it. And so in that 5 years, like I want to go and do as much as good I can do for this world. So we hooked up with a lot of organizations and even started one of my own called Faceless International. And what that does is we're trying to bring guys and bands across the world. And we've actually been to Haiti, and we've actually been to India, and we're planning a trip to Kenya and Africa this next January.
Oh, excellent.
But To Right Love has a special place in our heart because, sorry, Jamie, the guy who actually runs it, is a good friend of ours for years now.
Okay.
And so he's just a great guy. When he came to us with the cause, there was no way that we weren't going to stand behind it. So when we were in India, actually, he came with me to India, and I was like, man, you should just come on tour with us. Open up, talk a little bit before we go on, and tell people about your cause and your fight. And To Right Love has taken off, and it's just been amazing to see what he's been able to do in our culture and in our subculture and our genre and saving lives and making sure that people get help if they need it.